Hello and welcome to today's Spa Sweethearts Craft Club. Today we're going to make these no-peak gift bags, which I learned in my second ever WI meeting. We use these in our family. Our director is called Frank, who has his name on here on this one, which is the wallpaper from his bedroom. My other son likes maps, and that's washi tape decorating that one. And the children very nicely made mum and dad ones for us. And we use these all the time, and instead of just throwing away wrapping paper, it's a way of using things over and over again. So what do we need to make them? We need some wallpaper or paper of some sort. So wallpaper works really well. You often end up with a little bit left over. This is from my hallway, and it's useful to reuse this, and it's nice and stiff and hard, and your wallpaper one can last for years. But you can make it with just brown paper. One year at school I made these for my colleagues, and it's really cheap brown paper that you could make loads of, but you just zhuzhed it up a little bit with some baubles from the charity shop, little bit of ribbon, you could write on them. They don't last forever if it's thin paper, but they look really nice, and everybody was really pleased with those. You can use craft paper as well if you've got some fancy paper like this left over. The thicker your paper, the longer your bag will last. If you've got wrapping paper, I know it's slightly odd to make wrapping paper into wrapping paper, but you're reusing it several times rather than just chucking it away. So any kind of paper. If all you've got at the moment is your old copy of WI Life, that's okay, that will work too. They don't last as long, but wallpaper or something like that. You also need to go and raid your cupboards because you need to find a box. Your box is going to be the template inside. This is the one we're making today. So this is a soup box, obviously. I also have often used this popcorn box. The box does not need to be empty, and you're going to be reusing it over and over again. So just look through your cupboard and find some sort of box that makes an appropriate kind of size gift. It could be small, it could be big, whatever, that kind of thing. You need a piece of ribbon that's going to tie all the way through, all the way around it. Okay, so you need ribbon as well. So we've got paper, we've got a box, and we've got a ribbon. Now you need some scissors, obviously. It's useful to have a ruler, not essential, but useful to have a ruler. I swear I'm not sponsored by the coaster industry, but if you've got a couple of things to weight it down, especially if it's wallpaper and it's all tight in there, that's quite handy. Something to write with, pen or pencil, and you need some kind of tape. Now, the lady who came to our WI to teach us this said that it was the worst thing on earth to see sellotape in some gift wrapping, and you must never ever use it. And double-sided tape was the secret to everything. Now, this one is made with sellotape. I get what she means about it looking better, but it really looks okay. So if all you've got is sellotape, that's fine. If you've got some double-sided tape, that will be fine as well. But either way, some kind of tape. So these are the equipment that you're going to need today. So if you pause the video and go, oh, I've forgotten one thing. You also need a little bit of card. This isn't essential, but helpful, especially if you're using thinner paper. This is from a cornflake box, and we're actually going to need some of this for next week's as well. So you can cut a little bit of card like that now. Again, that sort of thicker card will do, and then save a little bit for next week as well. So if you did pause the video, you could go and collect those things and then come back to us. Okay, director? Okay. So you need your box. Mine is empty, so I've just sellotaped down the top just to stop it from flapping around. And you need to tie a ribbon around it. Now, because I've already done this, mine's fitting around it like that. But what you need is to be able to pull this out like that. That's the only function. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be ribbon. It can be string, it can be wool, it can be anything. And you need to tie a knot at the top. I do find if you do have a lovely person in the house who could help you, putting a finger on it to tie the knot did help. But the function is we're going to pull that in a bit. So you need to prepare your box like that. Then you need to get your wallpaper and cut your wallpaper to a certain length. Now this was a little bit tricky and was easier for me to show you standing up, but we couldn't get the filming to work. So I've cut mine already, but I'll show you how to do it by now putting down my handy coasters and weights into the corner. So you need to get your box and lay it down on your material, on your wallpaper. Now this measurement here, from here to here, needs to be about 40 centimetres. It's about twice, it's 40 centimetres for me, I've just realised, about just over twice how your box would fit on, and then cut across that way. Okay, so you've got that for the height of it. And then you need to lay your box on. Just make sure your ribbons are up like that so that they're not stuck underneath. And then you need your wallpaper or paper to be able to fit around the box so that it looks like that. So if I just hold that up to show you, it's going around the box right to the edge like that, and then again over to that side, and then cut as straight as you can. If you use a ruler and cut nice and straight like that, that's fine. Again, you know, accuracy is not my thing, but cutting along. So you end up with your box like that. So your box is now, if I could show you it like that, your box is now covered around, and the box is about, the length is about twice and a bit of what your box should be. Once you've watched the whole video and you see what we're doing, you'll understand that. You're probably better now just watching it and then coming back to this stage and thinking, ah, right, I see how she's going to do it. Okay, so we're now going to put away this piece for a moment and get out the cardboard that we had. So get your box, put it underneath and draw around the bottom of your box so that you end up with a piece of card the same size. Okay, like that. You don't need to use a felt tip pen, that's so that you can see it. A pencil will be better for you. Then I want you to cut around it just inside that line. So I'm going to show you. So instead of cutting exactly on the line, you're going to go a little way in, not as much as ½ centimetre. Oh, I'm trying to do it upside down, so that's not straight at all. Like that. Okay, all the way along. So it goes off, and the same thing just inside, so that you end up with a piece of card which is a little bit smaller than your box, like that. Okay, put that one aside for a second because we're going to need it, and get out your measured up wallpaper. Put your handy coasters on the corners. What should I use for that one? Hold my scissors for that one. And then put your box into the middle. It's really important that the ribbons go up now, otherwise you won't be able to pull it in a little while. So you need to get your double-sided tape and stick it almost all the length of one of your sides. Okay, so almost all of the length, not quite. The great thing about double-sided tape is that you can tear it instead of having to mess about with the scissors, which just makes it seem about 1,000,000 times easier actually, even though it's not that difficult to cut sellotape. So we're going to do this, and we're just going to leave that for a minute. Don't take the bottom off. Oh, that's not heavy enough. Let me find something else there. The ruler's better. Right, now I want to make sure that this will fold around my box, but that one of the ends, and that's going to be the end with the double-sided tape on, is coming exactly to the edge. Doesn't matter what the inside one is, but I want that to be exactly on the edge. So I'm just going to negotiate it around a little bit, fiddle with it a little bit until I'm happy that that is coming right to the edge, because it makes it look neater. If you're struggling with that, it really doesn't matter if it's around, but it looks nice and neat on the edge. Okay, so that's looking good like that. And I'm now going to, and you'll notice I'm using my arms and all kinds of bits of my body, I'm going to pull off the backing paper. So now I've got the sticky. That's going to be thrown away. Okay, now I want this to be tight now, tight around my box. I'm pushing that box up to the edge, and now I'm going to pull that round. I'm holding it all tight at this moment so that I can stick it down. All nice and tight, sticking it down, so that you're ending up, if I can show you there, as tight as we can be around. Now, you know how to make a good fold. I am sponsored by the Good Fold industry. You know you have to pinch along, and I cannot emphasize enough how important good folds are on this one. You're going to go over this about 2 million times, not really, lots of times, going around your fingers like this. Now, we're going to look at this end, and from the other side I'm going to push the box down a bit, like that, because I want this now to do this. I'll show you and then you'll know exactly where it's going to go. I'm going to fold it just like a traditional parcel. So can you see how I've done that? Folded down like that. Okay, so that's the amount of space you need to have at the end when you're pushing your box down. So think to yourself when you push it around, can I get sort of approximately that? Now, this is where you need to get your card. One side's going to have cornflakes on, and one side's plain. We don't want to see this one, we want to see the other one. So we're going to put it on like that. So we're looking at the cornflakey bit. Okay, and now I'm going to push that down like that, as I did. Now I get another little piece of tape and put that there. Oh, it's always falling out, this one. It keeps doing that. Stop doing that. Okay, it's partly because I'm picking it up, of course. So I'm keeping it in like that, and I'm putting my little piece of double-sided tape in there. Take off the backing. Long nails are helpful for taking off the backing of double-sided tape. Oh, that one's not coming off now. I just said I could do it easily. There we are. They are helpful. And then we are just wrapping this exactly as you would. Thought I'd torn it then, it sounded like that, but it didn't. Exactly as you would a normal present, as you're used to doing. So you end up with the bottom looking like that, just like you would any normal present. Okay, and you know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to go around those folds again, including all the bottom ones, every single one, and you're kind of pinching against the weight of the box underneath, which you'll be able to feel. And I'm still going to keep going round. I told you to get it exactly at the edge, and mine isn't exactly at the edge. And you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to worry. This is where you'll be really pleased that you tied a ribbon around, because we now need to pull it out. If you forget, as I have done lots of times, to use the ribbon, you've got your hand in and it's really difficult. But you can pull it up like that. Don't pull it out. Don't pull it all the way, because now I want you to do again up with the folds and make sure that all of your folds are really, really good. Okay, all the way through, right to the edge. And I'm now going to go back over those original folds where I couldn't get my fingers in before and give them a really good pinch, 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 pinch all the way along. Now if you're using wallpaper, this is a little bit tricky because wallpaper's thick. If you're using very thin paper, it might be tricky because you could put your fingers through it. So we need to just do this carefully all the way around. Okay, and then when you get to the end, make sure you've got the very end bit done as well, and then you can take that out. You don't need this anymore. You can go and have some mushroom soup if you like. Put that away, and you've got this like this. Okay, now again, I can't emphasize enough that you still need to pull your fingers all the way along and make these folds really crisp. It is wallpaper, slightly rustly. Okay, going all the way along. Okay, and then we're going to end up with this. Now, it's a little bit too tall for a gift bag, I think, that one. So I'm going to cut it down a bit. This bit hasn't stuck either. And I'm going to just cut off the top. If you want to get your ruler out and do a good bit of measuring, feel free. Okay, I'm just going to guess. Okay, now this is what we're going to do. We're going to take an edge piece here with our two good folds, and we're going to push it inward. So that one and that one are coming together. Now, you're going to need to get your finger along. See what I did there? But we're not doing it all the way to the bottom. We're only doing it about halfway. And then I'm going to fold it together. Can you see that? That is how I folded it, about halfway, so it looks like that. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're making that kind of a fold inside, pushing my finger like that so it'll do it, and then pulling those two. You guessed it, good fold. Okay. So at this point you want to make sure your top is straight, and then you want to fold over once and then twice. I did a giant fold there. You could do a smaller one if that's more appropriate for you. Give it a little squash. Now I'm a big fan of pegs. Later on I will show you a lovely way to paint your pegs and make them look good, and that's a good way to keep these closed. The other way, of course, is to get your ribbon. You could even use the same one that you used earlier and tie it around like that. Okay, so that they are nice no-peek gift bags, and then you can easily get inside and find out what you've got. So I hope you reuse those over and over again and they become a really good staple of things that you're doing. That is a slightly trickier craft, one of our trickier crafts. And next week we're going to go back to a really easy one with another corsage. Okay, so keep that bit of card and I will see you next time for some more craft.